2014 in session.
The town of Olds holds 3 council meetings a month. The second Monday of the month is a special meeting named Policies and Priorities Meeting and is held in the council chambers starting at 3 o'clock p.m.
That being new business 6F, is that correct? Okay. And may I also add one in just regards with our facility routes? Do we have a meeting scheduled? I know there'll be one to say, but just an update would be nice. Thank you. Any other? Hearing none, then I'll...
Mayor Judy Dahl gave us an overview of the history and the purpose of this meeting.
The Town of Olds Council struck a Council Policies and Priorities Committee meeting once a month to open the door to the public, mostly to organizations and individuals that typically wouldn't be able to have a lot of time to come to a regular council meeting and spend a lot of time asking questions with council. It's been very successful. We would like to perhaps in the future call it our Council Governance Priorities Committee meeting. We're not there yet. It is working. What we do is we take our Community Services Directory and we open the door to all the organizations, boards, committees to come to council and just give us an overview of what they do, why they do it, what kind of community support they're looking for, and in the event that they do need to come with any type of monetary ask in the future, council has already been apprised of what their organization does for work.
We would welcome an introduction for the presentation of disaster services.
For sure, we've got Bill Johnston with us today, and Bill's going to give us a high-level overview of our emergency management procedure, and particularly how council fits into that. So, Bill, you want to come up and use the microphone, please?
What I want to do is first of all talk about what is an emergency, and that's very brief. Then I want to talk about why we're even discussing about emergencies, about council's responsibilities and authority, and about my responsibilities and authorities. I wish this would be a very exciting presentation, but unfortunately it's not. When we're talking about responsibilities and authorities, it all comes from statutes, so I'm going to bore you with a whole bunch of statutes for a few minutes. And I know that some of you have heard this more than once. Hope it's a good reminder to you. Some of you will be new, and I hope you'll find it interesting. So, first of all, what's emergency? It's an event that requires prompt coordination, special action, or a regulation of persons' property to protect the safety, health, or welfare of people, or to limit damage of property. And that then leads us into what are the priorities for emergency planning. Our number one priority is always to protect lives, life safety. Our number two priority and number three priority change based on the incident. It's either to protect property or protect the environment, and they can change from 2 to 3.
Bill Johnston, Director of Emergency Management for the Town of Olds, provided specific information regarding emergencies in Olds following his presentation to Council.
Olds, what kind of real disasters could we be facing?
Well, I think one of the big things that comes to mind is the railway goes right through Olds, and lots of businesses back onto the railway. The other big one is Highway 27 goes through Olds, and although there's less truck traffic going through there now, there still is a lot of truck traffic, and some of the goods that they're carrying are not nice goods. In the event anything happens in the town is responsible to deal with that incident. So if a train derails, we don't have to deal with putting the train back on the track, but we have to deal with anything that comes out of that incident. So if some chemical is released, we deal with that part of it. The same way on trucks. If an accident and something is released, then we deal with the release.
What can the citizens of Olds do to prepare for any kind of disasters themselves?
If they would go onto the internet and look at shelter in place, and if they would prepare themselves to be able to shelter in place in the event of a release of a toxic gas, that would help. They can also go on getprepared.ca and develop a 72-hour kit. So put all the things that are listed on that website into a kit so that in the event of an incident, they can look after themselves for 72 hours.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. It's never boring to hear about emergency planning, so thank you so very much. And I am, along with council, happy that we have a regional system to rely upon, and it does give us depth. So thank you. And are there questions? I think Councillor Bergeron.
Thanks, Bill. I just wanted to ask a few questions about your role. How long have you been? You mentioned 30-some years, but how long have you been doing the emergency services here in Olds?
I came here in 2000 and started shortly after I came here, so almost 13 years.
Is it a volunteer position in communities, or is it a paid position? Or?
It's a paid position. I get paid by the hour.
Okay, good.
So if I work, I get paid. If I don't, you don't pay me.
Good. I was worried that maybe you were volunteering.
We had the opportunity to speak with a new member of council, Councillor Mary Anne Overwater.
I'm finding it a very rewarding, very challenging experience. There is lots of reading and being prepared for your council meetings. There's lots of questions you need to ask. You need to find out background history before you can come and make a good decision on behalf of the community. Yeah.
In your time as a councillor, what issues have resonated the most with you? What do you feel most passionate about?
I think one of the most passionate things I feel about is our bylaws, and making sure that our bylaws that we do have are right for this time of our community, and also that they're being enforced. If we have bylaws, we have to be able to enforce them. We have to be able to have the manpower to enforce them. So that's one of my main passions, I think, for the community.
If you were talking to the community all at once, what would you say to them?
Well, I'm here to listen to their concerns, and I'm open to sit down and have coffee with them, and I'm sure all citizens have different priorities in their life, and we as a council, we try and summarize those priorities and take a look at everything and make sure that we are doing what the citizens of Olds want us to do, and we are going in the direction that they want us to go into.
In response to the many reports of roof collapse due to snow loads in the region, Doug Wagstaff, Director of Community Services, delivered an update to Council on the status of the town's buildings.
With regards to the specific issue of snow load on our roofs, both Peter and Kelly have been up checking the roofs of all of our facilities. They have pulled the blueprints on some of the ones that they had questions about, and in particular the arena and the curling rink. And they have those blueprints and also the information the town has had snow load on there. But they've contacted an engineer to interpret for them how practically they can go up operationally and judge what the snow load on the specs, how does that equate to what they're looking at. But they have been up there keeping an eye on it. They were surprised at actually how little snow there was up on top of the arena roof itself, surprisingly. And the other roofs that we have, like the pool, etc., were also checked out. You know, they're slope roofs, and some of them carry down onto the flat roof.
What about the library? I know it's flat.
They've been on the library as well. Yes. Yeah. So they've checked all the roofs.
Mayor Dahl commented on the increased cost of snow removal in Olds following our recent storms.
Snow removal is one of those crystal ball budgets that every municipality has. It's not a matter of what our thoughts are. It's part of our safety that we're mandated to do in a community. When an act of nature happens, our job is, as a municipality, is to make this a safe community for people to move. This year, yes, 2013, we did go over the $200,000 mark for snow removal. We are already going to be coming back to council in the spring budget to ask to update our budget for snow removal for 2014, as we've already surpassed the amount. Saying that, we have spoke, our council as a whole, myself and my colleagues have spoke to members of the community, and they have all agreed that the safety factor must be first. So I really feel comfortable where we're at. We've had great successes. We've had huge communication through media, through our town newsletters, through communication with our staff, our council, and it isn't something we want to do. We really don't have a choice. It has to be done.
Council meetings are open to the public and citizens are invited to attend. For more information on dates for meetings as well as agendas and minutes of past meetings, visit the town website at www.olds.ca/council.html.
Surprised at actually how little snow there was up on
Olds Community TV, your go-to channel for news and information in Olds, Alberta.